Right. Okay, so carrying on. We noticed that with this one, basically we didn't have to specify the number of arguments or parameters that we're going to use. Help us create something like a tuple to work with. We can do the same with a dictionary, for example, where we can actually assign the content this way. So let's have a fifth function. Just that it makes it easier for us to differentiate. So I call it my function 5. And with this one, I'll use the double asterisk, so double star, and I will make it, I don't know, names, right? So I'm putting the double in there. So we get something like dictionary to use. So let's see, column, then I can say print the name of this awesome person is, and I can use the plus or comma. Let's go for plus. Is, and I'll put names into bracket. Now, this particular one, we will pull it out later, right? So we just say F name or first name. So when we go to the actual definition, we know we plan to use this first name somehow or at some point. So it was function 5. So let's call it my function 5. And I'm going to have, not that one. That's okay. Let's finish before you ask the question. Yeah. So carrying on from there, right? So my function 5, within here, what we have done is basically use this, which is quite similar to that. So we can have like a dictionary format where we can just allocate variables to their associations. So we can have, we said F name, which is the first name. So F name, we can have it equal to Michael. And we can have maybe middle name equal to none. And then we can have last name equal to my last name. So let's see if there are any errors. No errors. We printed what? The first name. So we had Michael. So even though this goes into quote here with the F name, remember it's like a dictionary, right? You have sort of one variable and the actual value associated with it. It didn't return, even though this is in code, it didn't return F name, but it returned Michael. Let's do the same for last name and see what comes up. So you do the same for last name and realize Opoku comes up, right? So we've just basically created a dictionary, but we don't necessarily have to specify the number of parameters because of this double star there. So I'll give you the chance to give it a go and we'll continue. So Nicole, you can ask your question now. Yeah. So far, we've been passing in the actual argument when we call the function. Okay. So what if we want to give it some default parameters? So I'm still going to, I don't know why I keep creating more functions. I shouldn't be doing that. But let's see. So my function 6. Default argument functions, right? Just give it something. And I will give it, let's say, name, and I'll assign a particular name to it called, I think the name has been becoming too much, right? Yeah, I do like my name. This name you expect me to use when you write your own, you use your own. Right. So the name Michael, and in this case, I'm gonna print this name has been used too much. And I'll print out name, right? Or I'll say your name is simple. Don't know why. Don't like it. Your name is. So in this particular case, we have a variable, right? That is coming in as that's the parameter. And that parameter we've initialized it to, I'm using the word initialize here for by purpose, right? To Michael, which means later we expect this to be either changed or maybe we keep it as it is. So let's see whether it will work. Hopefully there are no errors. So I'll go in the call that function and I'll pass maybe, I don't know, Jonathan to it. Then maybe I'll call the same function again. Make sure there are no errors. That works. So it printed your name is Jonathan, right? Let's call it Nick for Nicole, right? Right. And we have this for right. And we can have the last one. For this one, we will leave it, right? And then maybe we'll have another one. Lakim, I forgot his name. Get off your phone. Huh. so, so we run it, right? But what we see here is that we've got Jonathan, Nick, Dan, and last person there, right? So let's see. If we run this, we've got Jonathan, Nick, Dan. Then Michael came out of nowhere. We never input Michael when we actually call the function itself because it's what? It's a default parameter. And then we have the get off your phone. We cool with this? Yeah? Awesome. Use you use this to assign default parameter in here. That's during the definition when you assign a value to the variable. That would be the default parameter when you do not provide the value. Okay, so by default, that's what you get. If you want to take a quick screenshot or just type your own. Done with the we're done with the default value as an argument, right? So so we've got a default value when we are defining the parameters on there. And what that means is that if you leave it blank, it's just going to take the default and assign to it as we define it here. So we're looking at, you can have, let's say, a list. Shall we have a list of what? I don't know. List of something. Students, tell me something.
Parents.
Hmm?
Parents.
Right. Let's have some fruits then. List of fruits, right? And then you have some list. Huh? banana, something else. Apple. Who likes tiger nuts? You like tiger nuts, eh? I like tiger nuts too.
What is that?
You guys pick tiger nuts.
House like granite. Oh, house like granite.
It's when
Yeah.
you actually
House like granite.
like.
The way these people say you guys.
Yes.
This house like
One of
granite.
them.
So yeah, we're making a list of very easy to spell fruits. I'm kidding. Cherry,
Orange.
right? Someone said what? Okay, so we've got this there. Can be a list, can be an array. We've got a list. And let's say we want to create a function that cycles through this item, prints it out, all right? So let's have one more function. That would be function number 6. We call it that. Or it can be this function. You give it any name you want. I'm just making life easy for myself, right? Okay. And this function is going to take maybe, we know it's some kind of food. And we will cycle through it. So we just say for X in range or in food, because we don't do range because it's a list. And we would just say printers. Right? So our function was my function 6. And that's just going to do the printed for us. So let's pass the fruit to this function. And run it and see what happens. We expect it to, if there are no errors, we expect to see some banana, apples, and cherry and other things appearing somewhere. So we do have banana, apple, cherry, and orange showing up as we expected. Okay? Do you want me to go up? I'll stay there for a bit.